my goodness. Shouts out to Team No Sleep. Man, I know I haven't slept because this is third show of the day. What's up with you, brother Montel? How you living, man?
Man, like you know me, man. Always blessed, man. Always blessed to have another day.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
great Thursday. Talk about sports, the social impact. I'm excited. I got my partner, one of my classmates, coming down.
Mm.
Look at my boy, tall boy. Hey, man, I told you, man. I'm taking some advice. I ain't finished with it, tall boy. I ain't finished.
Yeah,
This is just a little something, but wait, it's gonna be even better when we get finished with it, especially
yeah.
in my other room.
I mean, you got
But
got the background going. I got the mic in the mail. You know, like the check is in the mail, but no, your new
it's all good,
microphone
man. Like
is
I
in the
said,
mail, so it's all
I'm,
good.
I'm working with a new laptop. I'm trying to get everything straight. So give me a few more weeks, man. Everything gonna be on fire. But like I said, I'm really excited about the show, man. My brother, my close confidant from college, actually was my roommate. Man, my man was a couch surfer on my house for a little bit. We was
Like
chilling.
that.
We go back for 20 plus years. He was my defensive back. He was my free safety when I was strong safety, and one of the coldest defenses in Division II football probably
Mm.
ever. And my man's just he's risen from being that student athlete to now he's control. I mean he's running stuff in his profession. Is a profession of psychology and sociology, working with underprivileged youth and prisoner and people that are locked up incarcerated. He's just doing big things, man. I'm glad he's going to be on the show. My man James Earl Holland Jr. I can't. I'm blessed, man, to have my man. My man is my confidant and my
Look
friend.
at you. You
So,
choking up, bringing him on stage. So
hey, man,
I'm
that's my
not even gonna
dog.
say anything else. I'm just gonna bring him on. Brother
Yeah,
Holland, welcome to Team No Sleep. I was looking at the comments that were coming in, and folks were giving love to Brother Montel and the
that's
fact
right.
that we have been doing it. And he was definitely hyping you up and appreciate it. Welcome, like I said, behind the scenes, brother. Welcome to the family. As soon
Hey,
as you walked in the front door, you part of the family. So, welcome.
hey, I appreciate it. Hey, glad to be here, man. Man,
Yes.
you got Montel, like you said, man, he been there for me since over 20 years, man. There's a lot of things we've been doing. I've been seeing the things that he's done in the community, and I'm just proud of him. I'm just really, really thankful God actually put him in my life too. He even been a mentor even for my son who's actually about to graduate Cal Lutheran with his last. Actually
Okay.
just finished graduating, but playing one more year of football.
Okay, right on. Right. Tell us a little bit about who you are first. We know every time we bring a guest on the show, we just kind of like to get perspective and really allow that person to shine and have their moment in the light, so to speak, so we can get background on who James Earl Holland
Okay.
Jr. is.
All right. Hey, appreciate it. Well, I'm a little older than I look. Let me take the head off a second. I'm actually 51 years old. So I grew up in streets of Richmond. That's Richmond, California. So pretty hard neighborhood and things. But right now, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I graduated Humboldt State in '94. And I've actually opened up my own individual practice for the last year. But I got about 20 years experience working with at at-risk youth, mentoring, counselor, coaching, high school football, track, and sports. I've been working with adults for 16 plus years, seniors, disabled, veterans, and again, like Montel kind of said too, I've been in working with CDCR in the prison. I work at Wasco State Prison for about 7 years, a little over 7 years now. I facilitated anger support groups, mindfulness support groups, sickle cell support groups, diabetes. I got two kids that's type 1. I'm actually type 2. And lifer groups. And I just got a passion really to just motivate people. One reason, if you don't mind, just real quick, that I actually got into social work. When I was at Humboldt State, I was mentoring some kids as like a big brother, big sister type thing. I was working at group homes over the summer between going to college. And I had some kids there that was ages 7 to 11 in Richmond. One of the kids, he had been in multiple different type of foster homes, of course, but he had an issue with being sexual promiscuous at age 11.
Mm.
So we had to watch him all the time. And fast forward, I guess I used to take him to like football games and things and actually mentor him and the other little kids that was there. But fast forward about 10 years later, a young man walked up to my sister on the streets and was like, "Oh, I know you, you Jimmy's brother. People know me as Jimmy." And she didn't know who he was, but he was like, "You know what? Tell your brother thank you." She's like, "What are you talking about?" So he said who he was. He was 21 years old. He had said that I was the first positive black male that he ever came across. He had 6 different men that molested him by the age of 11, and even got taken out of his own family because his own biological dad did. But he said I was the first one that was positive and helped him out. And so fast forward again later, he was engaged to be married and in college. So it was just things like that to where you never think about what you're doing for one person, but just to have a positive male role model, just to lead that person and see somebody, even of your color, that's doing something is really big for a mental state. So I'm a licensed clinical social worker, let her help out as much as I can. Appreciate
that story, man. And that gives context of, I'm gonna say that the content of the character, of who we're talking to right now. So we talking to some folks who resonate with the community and that are giving back. So appreciate you for all those efforts that you do. We gonna break down sports tonight, but
that's right.
But Team No Sleep is more than just the scores. It's more than just the standings. It's more than kind of like I was saying behind the scenes. It's more than who's got the newest sneaker deal. We talk about the social impact of sport. This week we've got some recurring stories. But we're gonna touch on a couple of things and look, brother Holland, we just gonna pick your brain and get your perspective, and there's a lot of folks that are watching, all right, and see where we go. I'm liking that hat too, man. Shouts out to that. Where mine at, man? Y'all know I got me a hat like that too. I need to get one, but all right, brother Montel, where we going? We gonna start where we left off last week. We gonna start with your boy Kwame.
Yeah. Let's start with brother Kwame, because that's the hottest thing going on social media. So I definitely want to give my brother's James perspective on it. Kwame Brown, I'm sure you know about the story. You know, him getting into it with a bunch of celebrities from things they said over the past years about him and his career, and he got the famous thing his mama's cooking, sprinkling on there when he's going at him pretty hard. And then this Charlamagne the God made an apology to him on the air of his show, The Breakfast Club.
Right.
And I don't even know if it went well or not. That's still kind of up in the air because Kwame's still going at him pretty tough. How do you feel that situation right now? How's that? And let's talk about from the social space. How's that you think that's socially impacting everybody? Is it just great entertainment, or is that really, do you think this could be some lingering effects from this within our community? Because we always boastful and always arguing and stuff sometimes, especially within that realm. James, I want kind of your perspective on how you feel about
it. Look, there's. I'm sorry. We got 2 Jameses here. Let me go with the guest. My fault. Let's go with Brother Holland. God, dog, you had me ready to look. I was ready to get on the soapbox. Right? Go ahead, Brother Holland. Go ahead.
Man, that to me that's kind of difficult. Because you got a situation where the individual was at one point someone people looked up to. He of course made it into the NBA and people wanted to kind of be like him. And unfortunately, a lot of times when we pick our role models, we pick people that we had no clue, so to speak, of how they really are inside. So right now, again, you don't know if that's something for more publicity. Is that something where he now got a voice where he could actually say what he truly feel about people? And you see how Stephen A. Smith is going back and forth with him as well. It's just, it's in a sense kind of detrimental at times, if you know what I mean. So, I'm hoping that it's something where for himself and his mental state of mind, I'd like to keep the goal mental, that it'll come out to be something that's just not a show or a dog and pony show.
So let me dive into this, man, because I specifically want to hear a little bit more from you, James, on this, being from your profession, right? One thing about Charlamagne, I don't know if I completely believe him, right? I think his statements are more for trying to ease the air from ratings, trying to kind of squelch it a little bit, because Kwame is telling, look, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm from the country. Meet me where you need to meet me, and we can lock them up if we need to, right? So that's something that probably wasn't expected. There was a lot of noise, a lot of chatter. Steven Jackson, what's your other dude, Bart.
Matt Barnes.
Matt
Matt
Barnes, right, right, right. So
Yeah.
doing a lot of talking, but then you got someone who's saying, okay, let's quit the talking and let's actually meet up face to face and have these types of things out. What kind of image, what type of a view perspective does that have? So I'm talking to you, James, as a therapist and from a social working perspective for our youth when they see folks that they look up to, millionaires, athletes, professional entertainers, folks in the spotlight, folks on TV, and they're going through this disillusionment. They're going through these situations. Again, how do you talk to a 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grader or year old when they see this on an ESPN or they see this on their social media feeds and say, you know, is this right? Is this how folks need to continue to react to these types of situations? Yeah, Kwame needs to definitely defend himself, and he needs to definitely make his opinion and his voice and his perspective known. But it's almost getting to the point where it's almost too late for talking, and you know it's almost getting to the point where someone is really probably going to get feelings and emotions and just hurt.
See, and that's when it turned into a much bigger issue because now you got those other kids that are looking up and like, okay, you know what? This is how we really handle situations. We can't really talk it out. We can't really sit there and understand each other's feelings, so to speak, because then we too soft.
Yeah.
When they do meet up, like back in the day, you used to actually could put them together with your hands, and that would have been it. But now you bring in different weapons. Some of them people might end up being on the other side where I work now because of the situation and because of supposedly just an insult at the beginning. Instead of able to really talk and define it and hash it out between one another, it just means such a bigger problem because it's just showing that this is how you do things in a negative type of way.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna bring this comment up because I saw Tobai mention this and we had him on the show. So shouts out to you, brother. We appreciate you for your support. Yeah, I was not necessarily mentioning that Kwame made that statement. That was Steven Jackson who said, "I'm in Atlanta. Bring all the folks that you need to be safe and come meet me if you want to see me face to face." So yeah, I'm just saying that type of a conversation is now starting to happen, right? It's starting to get more and more hot, confrontational, and it's getting to the point where again it's going to be very difficult to turn around. So I mean, you got Jamel Hill involved. Why? You got Stephen A. Smith involved. You got Chameleon. I mean, good. Charlemagne. I definitely have been doing too many shows today, but you got Charlemagne the God on doing shows, so that kind of thing. Montel, go ahead and say where you were going.
Yeah. I like I said, I will always respect any man that speaks his truth, and I think I respect Kwame for speaking his truth. I respect him for speaking his frustration, saying how he's tired of people poking the bear. I don't. Now, the one part that I kind of don't even understand about his thing is that when someone talks about when they critique him or criticize him of being the number one, I don't think using the term "bust" is the right word. I just don't think he lived up to expectation. And some people's number ones, just like I don't know if Joe Smith didn't live up to expectation of being number one. Neither did Michael Olaquande. You know, though there's other guys that even NFL and so on and so on, people that didn't live up to being the number one. But what I do think with him is that he's not a bust. He's actually a success story, and that's the one thing I think people need to definitely decipher. You can critique his basketball skills or his basketballs. He wasn't successful in basketball, but as far as a person being successful in life, that man has made it over and over. He's successful in life.
Yeah,
maybe not on the court he wasn't as successful people wanted to be, but to be able to do anything for 12 years, get paid very substantially, he is a success in life. Now, the part that I don't know if this triggered or not. I watched Matt Barnes. I watched it over. Matt Barnes said he didn't live up to his potential as being the number one. Now he added the bus on the end. That's probably what pissed Kwame off.
Yeah.
But it is true. If you're number one, number two, number three, number four, number five pick, with your high person, there's a certain expectation from fans and people in that organization for you to be successful. And if you don't do that, it is what it is. I mean, those are the things. But I think that the problem is that's where sports and life need to be separated. You know, you're not successful on the field, but that brother's winning in life all day, every day, all over, 20,000 times over and over again. I think, and our people, and I don't think just they need to know that as entertainers, as people as they're doing the YouTube team, our people and these young generations need to understand that as well. This man is successful in life, and that's the most important thing of all.
Yeah.
Can I jump into that a second?
Definitely, brother.
Absolutely,
I was actually going to.
Okay,
I was actually going
so,
to turn it your way anyway. Yeah.
And you know what? That's a really huge point that we kind of got to get across to the younger generation. Just like Montel said, the successful, how he's made it. But unfortunately, the younger generation, all we do is look at it's a beef between certain people. That's the things that happen with our race. Unfortunately, that's how we handle situations. We don't look at the how he's been able to take care of his family or provide based on his ability and where he got. Yeah, he was the #1 pick, and it's, I don't know, it's just some what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be at a certain level, actually have to perform and actually have to do something because you got that #1 pick. But some people, it just didn't happen, but it doesn't mean that he wasn't successful. And if he wasn't successful, he wouldn't have played that many years too. We're looking at numbers, we're looking at points, but he actually was able to still play. I think what is about 12 years.
I know he played over a decade. I know he played over a decade.
So with that, he was able to take care of his family. He's still able to do some things right now for himself to take care of himself. He's not locked up in prison.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great point, and I want to be cognizant, and I want to be respectful to the folks that are leaving comments. So, Tallboy again. So, we appreciate you leaving this statement here. You were wrong, Montel, about the 3 sides. Listening to the players who played with him, they all say Jordan held him back because he was not able to trade him for Elton Brand. But again, we're changing the conversation right now. We're taking advantage of having someone like Mr. Holland on here and trying to get to that social impact focus, right? Trying to understand what this is doing, this whole conversation, this whole argument, this whole dispute is doing maybe again to the youth that are out there watching it. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this whole conversation of Kwame, of Steven Jackson, of Matt Barnes, of Charlemagne, of all these other folks that are making noise. But right now, this conversation, we're trying to focus on, again, how is this impacting the youth of America, not just America, but really those impressionable minds who look up to these types of folks, entertainers, athletes, professionals, folks that are in the spotlight, and how that may be affecting them. So there's a whole different side of the conversation. And again, respectfully, Tallboy, where you're coming from as being a past player, you're coming from one perspective, but Montel and I right now are literally trying to pull some specific things out of James Holland because he's coming from more of a clinical location.
And to touch that again, like people keep coming up again talking about how somebody talking bad or dissing or things like that. But how many people brought up to the point where that man, if you even Google and look at it, that man was was born. Brown was the last of 8 children born into a dirt poor black family in South Carolina. Over the course of his career, he made more than $63 million, which let me raise this point, which he uses to give back to his family and community. That's what he's doing with it. But yet we talking about some distance between the two. We're not talking about what he's doing with the community.
Yeah, I agree, James. I think that I think basketball. Okay, he wasn't as successful as people projected him to be in basketball. Whether because he didn't get traded or not, I don't even care at that point. The man is a success story, just like you said, James. From where he came from him playing high school ball to being drafted out of high school to going to the NBA to doing all these beautiful things he's doing for his community and his family. And for someone to say he's a bust, he's not. He wasn't successful in basketball, but the dude is a winner in life. And that's the one thing we focus on, what you do in sports and not what they're doing in life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's some guys that people think they're the best guys in the world that played sports, but they're thugs. They were thugs then, they were thugs now. They were, we got to focus on who's successful in life.
Why you talking
You know,
about
there's a lot of
Latrell Sprewell like that? Why you talk about him?
well, I'm not talking about Freeway. I'm not
Why
mentioning
you
no one's names. But
why you talking
I
about
ain't
him
trying to have
choking
them dudes come
coaches?
after me, but or you know come after me. But I'm just saying, you know, what I mean, this man is successful in life, and I wish we took time to celebrate with the good things he's doing in life instead of trying to point out, that he just wasn't successful in basketball.
Wow.
You know, that doesn't make any sense. And I don't even think he wasn't. I thought he was successful in basketball. He got drafted to the NBA and played for 12 years. There's a lot of guys that don't make it to the that never even sniffed college basketball that were great, much less sniffed the NBA and play. So I think he's a celebrator. But I do understand. I understand where Matt Brown said he didn't live up to the expectations. I understand what he meant by that. But the part that people saying bust at the end of that or talking bad about the end of that at the end of that conversation, I wish Matt Barnes would have reached out to him, had that conversation with him, and they could have squashed it before it went to all the social media stuff. Now it's getting confrontational, like you said, which that's no place for millionaires to be fighting.
No.
We would never hear. Would we ever hear Dan Marley and Dan Marley and Mark Van Eaton arguing? White culture doesn't do that. We do that.
Yeah.
Which is sad. It's sad because we buy into that media hype stuff. Those guys would handle. I would think those guys would probably handle it behind closed doors. Why do we always got to air this dirty laundry out and not be able to handle it like grown adults do and have that phone call and say, hey, you know, I had a problem with what you said about me and go that way. But on the flip side, I do understand Kwame Brown speaking his truth and letting this frustration out. I just wish it didn't come to this confrontational part. That's the part I don't like.
When they do that and they come to the confrontational part and it's put into social media, that portrays the stereotype of us.
Yeah,
that's how we really are.
There you go.
You said, man, Tim Tebow, Danny Ferry, they wouldn't have did that. They wasn't that great. They had a bus.
Yeah.
But now it's all of a sudden, you know what? That's how, quote unquote, they are.
Yeah.
And that messes with the mental state of mind too.
That's the part I hate. That's the part that I hate right there.
Yeah.
That stereotype right there is what I hate.
Yeah. So now I think the four very passionate gentlemen, and I'm counting the man off screen right now. Now I think, we are in alignment, right? Because as he says here, the social impact is African American males are able to understand where he is coming from. He has the voice. We have to change the narrative to say life is not about how many points we score. So that is it. I think we all summed it up right there. We came at it from different angles. We came at it from, again, social working and from a therapist perspective. We came at it from fans. We came at it from a prior athlete. And we came at it from just me trying to instigate the conversation as just to make sure that we have these awkward conversations, right? Because this is what's necessary. Because a lot of there is no other outlet that's having the conversation to this degree, right? They're just scratching the surface, trying to stir up the flame a little bit, but not really trying to talk about what the impact is for the youth, what the impact is for society, for the culture. How do we get these brothers that are directly involved in this, how do we get them over this hump to maybe shaking hands and hugging it out one day as well? So Kwame Brown will continue to be in news. He will continue to be something that we talk about. It's a bloomin' onion. What restaurant was that? Was it?
The Blossom Possum or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It is whatever that is, and it will continue to evolve. We will probably talk about them again next time, but let's go ahead and we'll keep it in the basketball realm. Playoffs are happening. We got the games happening, but we got some other things happening at the games as well. We got, so hold on, let me go ahead and get focused and let me just stay with one. Talk to me about your team there. So, Brother Holland, who you cheering for, if anybody this year? I saw you put your head. I was gonna say I saw you put your head. And I was gonna say you looking for Steph. Steph at home right now.
I'm looking for Steph, man. Yeah. Golden State Warriors. We gonna be back, man.
Steph at home right now. Him and Aisha cooking in the kitchen right now.
But actually, let me go back a little. Like I grew up in the Bay Area, so I go way back. Like Joe Barry, Carroll, I know my whole team. It's not just because they won they had their little 5-year run. So
yeah.
So yeah, Golden State Warriors.
No worries. They tried. Look, Steph did his thing. He definitely put again another impact on the season, they're gonna change the rules for that, man. They're gonna change the whole 3-point line. They're gonna move the 3-point line all the way to center court. So
I don't think it's gonna make a difference with him.
I'm just saying, right? Because he's been shooting from the aisles and from the locker room and making them without any effort. Montel, I think I know who you was looking for. Who you cheering for?
I was looking for the Warriors, but I'm like, I'll tell you, and I say it again, I'm an official Laker hater. Anybody just play against the Lakers, I'm rooting for. I don't care. I mean, I'm trust me. I'm right now. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, and if they lose the series, I'm gonna be over the fan they play after that.
He said Phoenix Suns.
I'm just not, man. And you know what? I was thinking about this the other day, man, because I started hating LeBron when he went to the Lakers.
Okay.
I did. I was like, man, I used to be LeBron. Okay, he a good player. Cleveland, I ain't a big fan of his, but now I hate him as basketball. Now humanitarian in person, dude is the bomb. I think he's a great dude. Yeah. On that basketball court, man, I can't stand LeBron. I can't stand the Lakers.
He is your new Robert Horry, isn't he?
Nah, he ain't as bad as Robert Horry. I can't Robert Horry.
Horry put it on you, didn't he? When he was raining them threes back against the Kings.
When he beat that King shot, man, that killed my spirits for the Kings. But now LeBron is probably close second there. And what's funny, all my boys, Elijah, Joe, White, Elijah Anderson, they from the Southern California. They big advocate Laker fans, and I just can't stand the Lakers, man. I can't. Anybody that plays a Laker, I hope they beat them. I hope they beat them bad. I was hoping they lost the day before yesterday. I hope they lose tonight. I hope LeBron can't play, not because he hurt, he just can't play, so Phoenix can win. Whatever they need to do to beat the Lakers.
What's on your mind, brother? You all right? Tell us how you feel. You doing all right? What's going on in your world?
So I'm going for how many teams is in the playoffs? It's 16. I'm going for 15 other teams. I'm rooting for 15 other teams to win.
There it is. I told you I'm gonna throw some salt on these wounds. So this was all intentional right now. Yet series with Phoenix and LA is tied up 1-1. Phoenix was looking pretty dominant that first game. We'll see how that continues to play out, but I don't have a dog in the hunt or whatever other analogies out there, but I am a fan of the game, and I'm always a fan of the story. So I'm watching for the end story once it actually gets to closer to who's going to end up taking it all home. But we got some fans out there that's causing some problems, and it's almost. It's always been there, but it's now, right, we're just now starting to try to come out of COVID, and there's only a handful of folks that are in the stands. But now you got your boy Russell Westbrook getting hurt, coming out of the game. Somebody's dumping popcorn on him. Ridiculous. Yeah. You got your boy Trae Young out there just dropping threes like Steph from in the garage, right? He's just making it rain all over the place, thunderstorm. And you got folks, as soon as he comes back to the bench, you got folks spitting on him. I don't understand that piece of fan short fanatics. Brother Holland, talk to me about your thoughts on, again, those are just two current situations that we've seen right now, right? The guy throwing the popcorn on Westbrook and the fool that was spitting on Trae Young. Talk to us about kind of what you think is the mentality behind the fan/fanatic, and because their team is losing, so I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna kick your wagon.
Yeah, it's entitlement is what they feel. It's really, really big. They feel entitled because they went and paid this money or paid this ticket that the person need to do or act or say exactly like they feel they should win a game. You had the student that had death threats. What college was that? Because they got knocked out in the first round, but was the number 1 seed. That makes no sense. And for people to take it to that extent, they don't even need to be in the arena. And unfortunately, that happened more often than not. You got players that go to certain cities and they get called the N-word, all kind of things. It's really sad because it's supposed to be for the entertainment. It's supposed to be for sports, but it's certain people that take it to another level for themselves, and they feel they could get away with it because unfortunately they have in the past. They've
Wow.
seen other people do it.
Wow. That's a good point right there. Yeah.
Just like
See,
with when Ron Artest was playing for
mhm,
Indiana, somebody
mhm.
actually felt like they could disrespect this man and call you out your name. And
Hmm.
a lot of players now talk about it, places that they go. Even Karl Malone, before he came to LA, when he was with Utah, he talked about how it was certain people that was just always on him every single time when he came and played Los Angeles until he actually became that team. And all of a sudden now he's trying to be his friend.
Yeah.
It's just people feel entitled to it and they take it to another level. Then they get surprised and upset when they might get legal issues taken up on them. But
See, I see.
it's mental because they think they just because they paid this ticket because this person is wearing the team that they want to root
Hmm.
for,
Hmm.
they need to do exactly what they say, and it's not slavery.
Wow. That's a powerful comment that you
Yeah,
just
that's
made right
powerful
there.
right there.
Right.
I
Because
would go. I would go. Let me. I'll interject real
yeah, no,
quick.
go
I
ahead,
would
brother.
go. I would go to the point that I I like fans. I don't mind you trash talking me. I don't mind you doing any of that things. But when you start throwing objects or getting physical with me or physical with another athlete, I think you should accept you're gonna have to accept some repercussions because
Yes.
throwing popcorn on Russ, that's bad. That's very bad. That's stupid. It's dumb. The fan should be ejected and not be allowed to come back to the playoffs, or maybe not should be in a
Well, they were. They were. He was
yeah.
actually kicked out of the arena, and his season. He was a season ticket holder, and that's been revoked as well. So
Yeah, that
he's
should be
gone.
done,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. And Trey Young, somebody spitting on him. Trey Young the security should either be he should have walked to the dude and just punched him in the face
Yeah.
or the lady. You don't have the right to spit on nobody.
Yeah.
That's pretty, and especially now with COVID, the fear we are with just breathing on somebody
That's
and
a
doing
whole.
something.
I didn't even think about it. Keep going on that because that's a whole different point
Yeah,
there. Right.
you're gonna sit here and spit on me. That's assault. That's
Yeah.
assault right now. That should
Yeah.
be considered as assault, and you should be charged accordingly to. I don't know where think you get you the right to spit on somebody, or think you because if you're spitting on me, I'm figuring that you're demeaning my character. Period. And you know nothing about me but I'm playing basketball and I'm beating your team. So me, I think you should be charged with assault. And if I was Trey Young, I would have got up and probably tried to punch whoever in the face. That's me. I'd have been charged with assault because there's no way you should be able to do that. I think fans need to be able to understand you're a fan to cheer or root
Yeah.
against. And I don't, like I said, I don't mind the trash talking. I don't mind you doing the cutthroat signs. I don't mind you doing all those kind of things. That's okay because it's part of the game what you participate in. But anytime it crosses that line and it starts to get objects thrown or getting physical, then I personally feel athletes should be able to defend themselves.
That's a good
Now
point.
I don't want to see every athlete go up in the stands fighting. They shouldn't have to be I hope they don't go and fight. Security should be more better than that. But I believe one incident that I saw not too long ago, and it was on social media. The DB from Mac High School, James from Mac High School in Oakland that plays for the Ravens. I forgot his name. He's played for the Rams. He played for the Ravens. His coach is a dad at Mac High School. Damn, I can't think of his name. Anyway, a fan was saying something to him, and he got up when he was with the Rams. He walked up to the stand, and we walked up to the stands like, "What'd you say to me, homie? What'd you say? What was you talking about?" And the fan shut his mouth right then and there.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. If I remember his name during the show, I'll say it again. But I know his dad's the head coach at Mac High School in Oakland. Shout out to Mac High School. But he checked the fan, and I think some of these fans need to be checked. They really do. They really need to be checked and understand you're not going to sit here and disrespect me and do things to me and cross that line by throwing objects and stuff at me when it's unwarranted because I'm playing a basketball game and I'm beating your team.
Yeah.
Man.
So I pulled up the article, the most current situation about that fan, and yeah, man, I didn't even think about the whole COVID situation, right?
Yeah.
And someone spitting on you right now, so that could be some additional prosecution
Charges.
types of things for Trey. So according to the statement right now, the Knicks released a statement. We investigated the matter and determined that this patron, who is not a season ticket holder, did indeed spit on Trey Young, and for that reason, he is now banned from the Garden indefinitely. We apologize to Trey and the entire Atlanta Hawks organization for this fan's behavior. This was completely unacceptable and will not be tolerated in our venue. So that's being dealt with. But again, I would not be surprised if we see something more come out of this. Let me bring this comment up as well, because not that one, but from Keely. Speaking as an official, the issue is how we've been taught to dehumanize and other the opposition authority at an outlet for our fear and rage. So Keely is a official in field hockey. So she sees, again, a lot of emotion, a lot of real passionate fans as well in her sport. And she's the one back there coordinating the rules, right? Making sure that the teams are doing what they're supposed to be, the coaches are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and again, this is a statement from her perspective. So if we believe opposing players and officials are human, it's a lot harder to abuse those humans. That is an amazing statement right there.
Yes.
Your guys' thoughts on that?
Statement. Yeah, I think that's an awesome statement. I think she's absolutely 100% right. I believe you either look at your team as heroes or enemies, and you think it's okay for you to be dehumanized and agitate and go at your enemies any way you want to, instead of you're not looking at them as another human. It's almost like us against something else. It's kind of crazy how those fanatics kind of act sometimes. But I do believe, like I said, if you cross that line, you should be dealt with. I'm serious. You can't do that. I mean, if we're on the basketball court in the street court and we playing hoop and somebody does that to us.
Well, you saw Russell's reaction, right? Yes. Russell he don't play either. Russell from the streets too, right? So he was.
I think because you cross that line, right? Because you're crossing that line.
Yeah,
you're definitely you're crossing that line where, like, hold on, man. I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the day of all these sports, it's a game. It is a game.
Yeah.
Now they get paid very well for it. They're there to entertain. They're doing all that, but you do not have the right to cross that line. You just don't have to cross that. You can't cross that line at all, because I look at it. You got to treat it like anywhere else. If you're in the streets, if you cross that line, there's a consequence when you do that. Do this sort of thing.
You get dealt with.
Right?
You know what it is. It's that liquid courage, though.
That plays a part into it too.
That's what it is. They would never. Some of these fools, and I saw the little dude that threw the popcorn at Russ. Little dude, right? If he hadn't had a few beers in him or a few shots of Jaeger or whatever, I don't know. I'm just assuming now, right?
But that can't be your excuse. I mean, that can't be.
But I'm just saying, that's probably I'm the guy who bought this little $25 ticket, for this 2.5 hours. What you kind of alluded to, James, right now, I own you for this 2.5 hours, because I paid my little $25. And
they do the same thing, just like she said, the referee. I started reffing basketball back when I was doing intramural sports at Humboldt State. So I was doing refereeing for basketball like 20 years. And even as a referee, people kind of get that same type of mentality that they can say what they want to, say any type of way and act in it. There's been times where, because of a kid getting put out for having too many fouls, I almost had to throw down with a parent.
Hey, James, I got a question for you. So these unruly fans, is it starting at the youth level and then rising? Because I see.
Oh, come on, you know that.
I mean, I know that. I'm trying to get your perspective.
It's better throwing you a softball is what he's doing. He's throwing you a softball.
Yeah.
He doing me right now is what he's doing.
I mean, I'm serious. Is it starting from that youth and that parent that thinks their kid can do no wrong and is on you guys as referees, telling you how to do your job because they think their kid is this great, the greatest thing since sliced bread? Is that going to now they're going to games and being fan? I mean, where do you see that unruly fan starting from? And how's it growing? How is that growing like that?
It's because too, like, so you talking about like inner city and people growing up, and unfortunately the only way they think they could get out, they're not looking at, let me go to school, let me open up a business to help other kids get into college, like somebody that I know on this show that does, or somebody going to school and really working hard to become a lawyer, become a licensed clinical social worker, to become a psychologist, to become a school teacher. You know what? The only way to get out is if we don't do the drugs, we need to make it in basketball. So my little 5-year-old, 6-year-old, I got up every single morning at 4 in the morning. He already lifting weights. He already working out. And then at the age of 7 or 8, he go to this game and this coach put him on the bench, or the coach don't give him the ball 20 or 30 times because he's headed into the NFL and he's 7. And then you see the parent coming out on the middle of the field, attacking either the referee, attacking the coaches. You could go there, if you had a recording, you could just set it in the middle of the stands and listen to see what the parents are saying about the coaches. They doing the best they can, and some of them not even getting paid. But it start when they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. It's a parent still trying to live their dream through a kid.
Wow. Make it plain, brother. That's my pastor always used to say. Go ahead right there.
Peters. I'm sorry, Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters. That's it. Marcus Peters is my boy. That's the dude to check that dude in the stand. If we ever get a chance, go to YouTube. Marcus Peters checks that fan in the stand. I don't know if he said something or threw something at him, but he made sure that fan. No more. Yeah, the man, that fan ain't gonna do it no more. So I believe these unruly fans and these unruly people that are kind of coming in this picture. I think that behavior not only started with the entitled people that are spending their money, it's also trickling it down to these colleges, high school, and even youth level.
Yep.
That's where the social impact is coming in of those unruly. That's starting to happen all the way down to that level, and really at the youth level is getting bad because we even saw that one clip. I think it went viral about that one dad that slapped the kid or hit his kid or something like that after a game.
Oh yeah.
Because he didn't do right or something. So he saw the kid the kid didn't play well or something, and he popped him in the head. It's just getting crazy, man. I think it's really that's bad parenting for one.
Right.
Number one, and number two, I think those types of behaviors are becoming more and more accepted in our youth, and that behavior is like trickling down from every level, entitled, all the way down to every kind of sports level. These fans are really becoming crazy. Crazy. It's become crazy.
Yeah, and see the penalties got to be really harsh though to get it stopped.
Yes.
Out here in Bakersfield, we had 2 teams. I believe it was Wasco and I forget the other team, but they got into it so bad that both teams cleared each side. Parents even came down into the stands. It was actually the whole tape was looked at. People had legal issues come up against them and legal findings from the whole tape. So it was parents and also kids from both sides because it got that bad. The parents joined in.
Wow. You're bringing up some interesting points and some great points as well. And I want to bring this up because this is a good statement here. When you feel disempowered, you lash out at symbols who make you feel helpless. James, the social worker, is part of the force of people helping teach us how to deal with these feelings better. Keely hit it right on the spot. So again, awkward conversations that you got to have because it's happening. And there is, I don't want to say there's rhyme to reason, but there is method to get out of the funk, right? We can correct these situations and we can do better. It does not make sense. It's absolutely incorrect for folks to be spitting on folks, throwing stuff on folks, having parents and teachers and family and kids and siblings coming out of the stands because someone else scored the touchdown. That home training thing, right? I'm old school.
Exactly.
James, I'm 51 too, brother. So look, I'm from the East Coast. Look, my family is Virginia. So, we know about, home training and you do what you're supposed to do and you speak what you're supposed to. And
but everybody played a part in that though back in the day. Everybody. Yeah. So like growing up, if I was at a line down the street, the neighbor had the right
yes, sir.
to put me back in line.
I've been there.
I remember.
I think my dad is watching right now, so he. Yeah.
My high school coach, that also too. That's where with me still coaching. I try to instill that as well with the kids. But we was going to a CIF championship. Mm-hmm. We had the state champion back to back in the 100 as a running back. Okay. He missed 2 practices just because he the man. Coach did not play him in the CIF championship.
Okay.
So little things like that kind of really build character in a person to take away that entitlement.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are right, man. It takes a village, and I think that village nowadays in today's society is no longer there. Everyone wants to mind their own business and not help or not seek out the things that are wrong or not correct the wrongs in people when they're doing them, especially whenever and then we start to have this unruly behavior.
Yeah.
I'm same age as you guys. 1 year younger, though. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Little young buck come in here. Go ahead, brother.
But you know, light skin privilege, baby.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it. I thought that you said it.
But I believe, you know, there is a lack of discipline in today's society. There's things that are different from when we grew up. I mean, nowadays, like they said, they can't spank your kids no more for discipline reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe there's you know, you don't beat your kids, you don't abuse your kids, but I do believe there should be a discipline there. You don't come. I didn't come making it in before the street lights came on.
Ooh,
Moms didn't play that.
That's not a good night for you.
Yeah. So I believe that's been broken, but I think it's been broken in several ways. Not only we used to be a coast culture to say it takes a village and we would help raise our kids and everything. It's gotten so bad where if one thing goes wrong or people are so sue happy or they want to change all these kind of rules on how you can raise your kids, it's made that village individuals. And everybody just looks out the phone, which is sad, which has led to this unruly behavior as far as I'm concerned in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is, well, some of it is due to stuff like this, technology.
Yep.
Everyone's walking around with $1,000 phone in their pocket, right? So I can take a very clear picture of you doing something that you probably know you shouldn't be doing. I could take a video of you, and in 2 minutes I can send it to CNN, Fox, NBC, whomever, right? And you could be subject to getting fired. You could be subject to getting arrested. And again, I could be sitting down in the park. I can see you doing something. I can see you kicking the dog or kicking the bird or whatever, and I can film that, and I can say whatever I want to say. And that's some of where the society has gone to as well. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, on that same note, just like Kevin Hart came out and said, unfortunately, nowadays with social media, you make a comment on somebody's post and people taking that as it's God, as it's the word, it's the truth. And people believing that. So again, that's another way that we separating one another. And of course, like you hear, if you separate the masses, you keep them in their place, so to speak. You break up that community, nobody get ahead. They can't get to that level where you at, so to speak.
I love it, man. That was a worthy conversation and a worthy topic, because again, we touched on some things that I didn't actually think that we would go into, which is good. But real quick, James, your thoughts on kind of the elevator pitch. How do you think we correct some of that behavior? Right, because we talked about in the past it wasn't necessarily like that. We didn't see a lot of it because we had that quote unquote home training, and Keely was talking about, again, folks in your profession, which rightfully so, are helping to educate people to act right, be better. But how do we make that I guess expand? How do we accelerate the fact that, you know what, you can't be out there throwing popcorn on folks, you can't be throwing water on folks, you can't be spitting. That's do we start making examples of folks and lock them up, or you know what? I think
it's just more it's more education, and it starts from the home. It's more of leading by example. So when you got more people that's actually doing that and acting that way, other people think it's okay. But if you got a parent that's telling you what's right from wrong, and this is what you do and this is what you don't do, you grew up a different way. We just touched on it a little bit, talking about as far as how old we are and how we were brought up, and that just wouldn't even cross our mind.
True.
To do something like that to somebody else at a game or just as a person. So I think a lot of it is more of education, but the parents actually raising the kids that way and having that community again, building stronger communities, having the kids a positive role model to look up to compared to somebody, I just say not so positive, but to look up to, and showing how to be a man, showing how to be a woman, but in a correct way. So giving them that opportunity, actually also being themselves, not to lose themselves, but showing them right for wrong. That's the only way we're going to change things. And you got to have people in, even I'll take it to another level with government, actually portraying that too. Because when you see somebody that you elected in a certain position act in a certain way and get away with it, why can't you do it? It was it was a little thing that went on Facebook like years ago, and I know just talked about social media, but it had the breakdown of about 300 crimes, and it was saying like a certain number that committed petty theft, or a certain number that did robberies. Well, not robberies, but a certain number that as far as got over on businesses, but a lot of different crimes, and just numbers by it. And at the top of it, the question was, which one do you think this is? Is it the NBA or is it the NFL? And it was about 300 crimes. It was, and each crime, I mean, it was about 300 people in it, and about maybe 10 different crimes, 20, 30 some in each one of them. But you would be amazed at what the answer was. Some people said NFL, some people said NBA. And in the bottom it said, no, this is your U.S. Congress. So in a sense, it showed that if you if you have been through something, you can change your life and make it. But it also showed that what is the role models we're looking at?
That's pretty telling right there, because you think the folks that, well, we can go into that discussion as well, but that's definitely a show for another day. But that's a telling point. Right, that's definitely a telling point. You know, the folks that we elect to represent us from a government perspective out there acting a fool as well. And you know, the last dude that was in the building, I don't mention his name in my house, but y'all know who we talk about. But acting a fool. But home training, I mean, some things just are kind of that simple. Common sense, home training, just exactly. the golden rule: treat each other with respect. Let's end the NBA on a good note. Talk to me about your MVP picks. Irregardless of if they're not playing anymore, they can still win the MVP. And don't be biased, brother. Don't be biased. I kind of you know, I want to bring some joy back into the conversation.
And the things that he did,
talk to us.
That team, it gotta be Curry to me, from his numbers and the things that he did. Not being biased, but it was a stat that went across once where he broke the record for the most 30-point plus games in a row. He was helping other people out. He
did his thing.
Of course, he broke his only other record again with 3-pointers. I mean, but one other thing that, to me, again, I watched him a lot. He actually helped elevate some of the people that never would have had a chance.
Mm-hmm. You got some Atlanta folks over here trolling. You know, look at them. Here we go. You got these Georgia boys over here trolling. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Martel, talk to us, brother. Who you got?
Man, we didn't discuss this already. I like Curry.
Yes,
Curry should be MVP, but I know my boy, Tall Boy, talk about the international game and Joker. Joker should be the guy.
Don't pay attention to him. He's not on camera right now, so we're not talking. He is just a.
Embiid is third in line, I believe. But I mean, it's just hard to argue with what Steph did this year.
Yeah.
To me, the impact he had in the game. I mean, again, he's changing the game with the 3-point. Yeah. He's a little dude. He goes amongst the trees. He took a team that basically didn't really have very much talent on there and brought them to almost to getting them into the playoffs. He's carrying the team by himself. I mean, he's been carrying the team offensively by himself the whole year
for a long time.
And he was just doing, and he did amazing things the whole way. They just ran out of gas. We all would love to see what he could have did in the playoffs, because we know with him, he's a guy that can go for 40 any night, any given thing, and change the whole game. But as far as the regular season MVP, it's hard to argue that Steph is not the MVP, in my opinion.
What about you, my brother?
No, I mean, you know what? Again, I am very neutral. I am very right in the middle on this, moderate. I agree. Right? No one has caused more noise with what they're doing out there for someone who you would think is undersized. But again, cutting. Coming out there making these ridiculous shots, these circus shots, to be honest with you, and freezing the defense with some of the ball control he's got. I love him, and I love Kyrie just for their handle. Right. I love watching Kyrie like a Picasso out there, just breaking down the defense and doing some things, and Curry does it as well. And he's my if I had a vote, he would be.
Wait. How you gonna put us on the hook and you ain't gonna put yourself on the hook?
Hey,
I don't want to hear about Picasso. I don't want to hear about no Picasso paintings.
Watch it.
Watch this.
Watch it. Let me take them off screen right quick. See that's why I can act a fool,
wrong.
right? Because I'm the one right back here behind the camera right here. No. I'll go ahead and put my money where my mouth is. I think Curry is gonna pull it out as well.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, you know what? Another sad part is everybody's so used to Russell Westbrook doing triple doubles that people not even really talking about him that much as MVP. You gotta really, he not like on anything. That's just who he is and how his work ethic and how hard he pushed to be getting triple doubles every single game.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I echo other guys that are being mentioned in the conversation. Definitely Russ. I think Dame Lillard.
Yeah,
Trey Young.
Yeah.
You want to say Trey Young in the conversation?
Yeah, we got a troll out there. Go put your recommendation and put your nomination out there, brother. You know,
Yeah, who you going for, Tarwood?
But I do. Like I said, man, I think it should go Steph and Joker 1 and 2. Joker's have the guy don't look like he can play basketball. He don't look like he can get up in the morning, but Joker is a beast.
Yeah.
He's unstoppable in the middle. Guy, and he played a hell of a year. I think if Embiid wouldn't have got hurt, we'd be mentioning him in this conversation because his game has just gotten better and better. But obviously, it's between those three.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Curry just has so much more of an impact. And I'm not going to say Luka from Dallas. He's been
Luka's a bad man too. Luka's a bad man.
I mean, he's killing it right now. And he's killing the Clippers, by himself.
Yes.
So, the MVP is obviously he said California bias. It is subjective, man. I got to represent where I'm at, but I think I think dude is just the baller. He's just balling on out of control.
It's true.
In the regular season, he was just going crazy. I don't see nobody. No one else is doing what Steph did. No one. I mean, no one's doing what Russ did. I like the guys that are doing things that nobody else is doing, and no one was doing what Joker did. I look at Joker, and you be like, man. He looked like that big old dude that he just I don't know what he do. Right? You look at him like, I don't know what he
You
do.
are not supposed to be out here on the basketball court, but okay. You 9 feet tall, and you still got some movement.
He don't look like he can
Dude,
he don't look like he can jump. He don't look like he can do anything. But
killing it.
The one thing he can't do, he can't be stopped on that basketball court. Which is crazy to me.
That is true.
Which is crazy to me. So I like to see like Steph regular season MVP. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the playoff MVP,
right?
In the championship MVP. That's going to be a more interesting conversation because all the players is in the game right now for the playoff MVP. It was going to make the championship, and right now, that's the conversation we should be having. Who's going to be that person? And obviously, that person comes with who's going to start winning and winning and winning the more they advance. So I'm hoping Dame Lillard shows up, man. I'm a big Dame fan.
Yeah,
I think Dame's a baller on the West Coast, and then from the East guys, right now, man, I'm gonna tell you right now who I like a lot. That no one ever talks about is Tobias on Philadelphia. That's that dude. Tobias is the unsung hero on Philadelphia. He scores 20 a night. He don't say too much. He's their backbone to scoring on Philadelphia. Him and Embiid do their thing. And when Embiid is there, Tobias has still put up his 20 points. And that's why you see them where they're at right now. Everybody knows the big three and New Jersey is going to do their thing.
But Harris is on that team. And
who's that?
Really talk about Harris. I think that's Harris. That's on that team.
He was shoot your lights out. Yeah, he can shoot your lights out over there. I think it's Joe Harris, right? Joe Harris.
First name.
Yeah, he's a baller too. I mean, it's an interesting playoffs, but I think Noah's talking about Giannis. Giannis is still doing his thing from Milwaukee.
Nah, not yet, not this year, not yet. Right?
I don't think he's going. I'm not going to think he's going to win it, but we're talking about in the playoffs who's doing dynamic things. Those guys are still doing dynamic things in the playoffs. MVP of the regular season is Steph.
Yes.
Put a stamp on it.
Done.
Now, when we go to the playoffs, now we got a whole other second season. Who's going to get there? Who's going to be to get down? And those guys are all the major players in it.
Yeah, because even D Rose is actually playing again.
The resurrection of Derrick Rose. The
So we
Trying
all
to get an
good,
East
man.
Coast something, but no, I'm straight West Coast.
Yeah, no, it ain't gonna happen. We'll talk about that next time. We'll see as we get closer and deeper into the playoffs. Let's go ahead. Tall boy, don't be out, because we saved the NFL for last. Don't be out like Julio, but Julio.
Yeah.
Perfect timing for the comments. I'm bringing up on
That's the great segue into it.
Julio Jones. I'm through with them Falcons. I'm through. He want to go someplace else. He's and couple of his compadres, the folks that he rolled with. God, dog, I can't think of his name right now. Why did I?
The cats of the Titans. I forgot his name, but the dudes on the Titans are the ones that's trying to entice him to come there. But I really, and James is gonna love this. I know he's gonna love this. He's gonna get a smile right when I say this. Julio Jones would be a great addition to the Raiders.
Yeah, definitely.
He would be. But you guys, you got to hear my point strategically for football reasons. Why? One, he's going to a great market in Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
Two, they love the vertical ball in there. Julio's probably one. He is the best vertical ball guy when he's playing, because he averages over 100 catches. Raiders have enough to give up beyond that second round pick that they want, or whatever they want, to go to Atlanta. They have a lot more to be able to give up for him to be able to end up in that team. But the difference is Julio wants to go to a winner and a playoff contender right now. I don't think the Raiders is in that position right now. That's the only difference that's there. But Julio, just like Aaron Rodgers, peace out. They trying to get out of this.
Aaron Rodgers is in Hawaii right now, and the Green Bay Packers are losing their mind because they can't reach the dude. He is drinking Mai Tais and having luau's, and I saw some photos. Look, the man ain't thinking about them Green Bay Packers, and they are losing their mind.
His wife on the West Coast too, right?
Yeah, she's Hollywood. Yeah.
So that's the news right now, because where they fall, because the big names, especially when Julio said I'm through, and finally went public with that, everyone's now again starting to get curious, and I would love to see him in Pittsburgh. Shouts out to my Steelers. I ain't mad. Where my terrible towel at? Because we could use it. I could use some more weapons on my line.
Hey, but you guys got a really good one in Najee Harris, man. Yeah, Najee really good peoples too, man.
I'm not gonna turn down Julio Jones though. Look, if Julio come knocking at the door, we're gonna let him in.
Man, that's right.
We're gonna let him in.
Big Ben, grandfather, old man.
There we go.
No need Ben's. He needs all the help he can get, so I know you wouldn't turn him down.
Hold on. I'm gonna throw this out again. Here we go. Talking about my own dude. I'm repurposing comments, guys.
There's no way. But I mean, we know, man, Julio's gonna. I mean, they're talking about he's gonna end up in Tennessee. I can't see how Tennessee. They're saying that they only need Atlanta saying they only want a second round for him. I'm not buying that, because Julio's one. He's worth the first round. I know he's at the age of, I believe, 29 to 30 years old. So he's still got 3 or 4 more good years in him, and very productive years. Julio on a bad season is gonna have 50 catches right now on a bad season, which is better than a lot of people in the NFL right now. I can't see some team giving up either a late first rounder and something else consideration to give them. And not a lot of teams have that right now in their cap to be able to do that. Got to also remember, not only just a trade for him, Julio's got to defend under the cap space those teams have.
Yes.
Those teams have. That's the bigger issue. It's not what they're going to trade for him, trading the second rounder for him or late first rounder. It's wherever he goes, can they get him up underneath the cap? That's where I think where the bigger issue is. And I can't see where he wants to land in Tennessee. That's where that's going to be out of place, because Derrick Henry just got paid. He just got paid. So it's going to be interesting to see where he lands. But I'm going to tell you right now, wherever he lands, that's a change in the guard, or maybe who can lead. I mean, I'm just extending him. So he's got some options. It's just going to be where they can fit him in that cap room and where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you guys both this before we move on, and this is something that's in relation to this, and I want to talk more about the NFL and about football, and but we got a comment right about Shannon Sharp and how that conversation between he and Julio played out. I have not I've been focus on a lot of other things, and I missed part of a story, unfortunately. So forgive me, I'm human. But do you guys know about what's happened with that conversation between Shannon and Julio, and kind of how I know there were some repercussions that came out of that, and Shannon is not being seen in the best light right now, and just wondering if you guys had any insight about what happened there.
I know it came on this podcast, right? That Team Shay Shay podcast. I believe the conversation came out of. But I don't know what you're upset about. I mean, he asked the direct questions. I think the direct questions were answered, and it kind of leaked on his podcast instead of him going to the front office or whatever, or him letting Atlanta know however they're supposed to do it. But these days now, everything gets leaked on social media before it gets to where it's supposed to go anyway. So I'm not sure why he's looking at it being looked at as a negative light because somebody announced something on the show that he doesn't want to be a part of Atlanta anymore. And that's funny that they're attacking Shannon Sharp on that same conversation when the dude broke the news about what's the name, Aaron Rodgers right before the draft when he gave him a phone call. So he didn't. Aaron Rodgers didn't tell Green Bay first he was leaving. He told Adam Scheffler first. So why aren't you pissed at Adam Scheffler, but now you pissed off at Shannon Sharp? That's a double standard in the media world. You know, why are you mad at Shannon Sharp, but you're not mad at Adam Chandler for breaking the news? Interesting.
Neither one of them the front office first. Yeah. Apparently, what is going on, and exactly what you were saying, right? Shannon is being fined a couple $1,000, maybe even some jail time for. It is not clear if Jones knew he was speaking live on the show and the Falcons had no prior knowledge of the interview taking place. It was also reported that the team could seek an on-air apology, since California is a two-party consent state when it comes to capturing phone conversations. Sharp could be in some trouble of his own. Both Sharp and Jones would need to know that the call would be aired and recorded, and with Jones not knowing he was live, Sharp could face a misdemeanor charge for violation of California Penal Code.
Wow.
So that's right on. Outside of the scope of the man wanting to go to another team, now we got legal ramifications for having the conversation on a podcast. And again, that's what we, as content creators, we're out there trying to get the story. Shannon Sharp is out there just trying to get the thing. Yeah, we all know we're in California. We know you're not supposed to be recording anybody. When you go on Zoom now, there's a notice that says this meeting is going to be recorded. Do you want to stay on it? Do you want to leave? That kind of thing. But that's almost a distraction now. But again, that's a relevant distraction because that's now part of the discussion and part of the story. So.
But I got a question. So now with that being, oh, go ahead, James. Well, James, I'll let you comment real quick. With that being now happening, that I guess Julio's claiming he wasn't being recorded, or he didn't know it being recorded. Is it because Julio's now being in trouble, getting investigated by the league and getting invested by his own organization because he leaked that information without talking to them first? I mean, there's always a backlash or something. Why was Julio's bringing this up? Huh?
Sorry about that. That's what the article said. The Falcons was mad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's more what it is. In my opinion. Hey, Hicks, I want to kind of change this conversation and ask James' opinion on the Deshaun Watson situation.
Well,
give some background on it for folks who aren't aware.
We know the Deshaun Watson situation as far as
we didn't just completely pivoted off of. We didn't just completely pivoted off of. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
That's not. I mean, let's talk about Deshaun Watson more. Yeah. Deshaun Watson is more of, I think, more of a something we could talk about that's more impactful to our community, how impactful for people to understand. Deshaun Watson situation, the sexual assaults with all the masseuses and all that other good stuff, or all that stuff that he was doing, allegedly doing. That impact now with the Texans. Now, the Texans are they? My question is he allowed to play? Should he be allowed to play with the situation going on? Or no, because of all the things going on.
I'll say two names, and let's see if these people were allowed to still do their business and play. Robert Kraft.
Mm-mm.
And it was a quarterback. What was his name? He played at Tennessee. He won a championship with Indianapolis and Denver. Peyton Manning. Oh, that's his name. Yeah. So,
Ooh,
with
you.
them two names, it was certain situations that happened with them. Peyton Manning back in Tennessee, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say it to him. I don't know if you guys remember
I remember,
about it. Decided to put his stuff out there to somebody that was taking care of him as a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Kraft in and out of the different things and same masseuse parlors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got the Texans who let JJ Watt go freely. But then when Deshaun Watson wanted to go, oh no, and now all of these other things are coming up. So
But my question is, but now that they got him, because he can't go nowhere because nobody's touching him. No one's touching Deshaun Watson. Right. Do the Texans say, okay, are we letting him play, or are we or no, you can't play. You got to go deal with that legal matters first. Because I haven't heard anything about he's sitting out the year or he's not training. I haven't heard any mumbles or mumbles any of that yet.
That's because they're gonna let him play. They're gonna let him play because the bottom line with the organization and the team, you're trying to win the game. Unfortunately, that's gonna take precedent. That's why they ain't came out and said it. That, as far as my thoughts, they gonna end up letting them play.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a decent point. And this is an interesting social comment and statement here from Tallboy as well, right? You know, I mean, it's almost a double standard. So
yeah,
because I think again
that's a real. You think he's gonna play? I'm trying to figure out. That situation is just real. It's first it was sketchy all the way from the beginning. You know, like all these allegations came out right when he was saying, "I'm not coming back. I'm not gonna play. You know, I'm done." And then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, with all these allegations come out." I've always said, and James Hicks knows, I think the team holds somewhat of responsibility for that. And this is here why I say the team, I think, holds responsibility for that. The team investigates and knows things that are going on with their players, especially the superstar players. They have constant security, constant investigation was going on. I know on the record, they gave Deshaun Watson a massage table for him to take home or take whatever. So if you know this man is being accused and these allegations are going, and you give him a massage table to take home to do whatever, that's kind of more encouraging or enticing the situation. And then two, once they heard about the situation once they heard about it twice, once they heard about it 3 times, how come them as a Texas organization didn't intervene and have the discussion with Deshaun and say what is going on to nip this in the bud instead of now ballooning up to these 40 or 50 allegations? Because they know. Those teams know. And NFL teams know what is going on with their players. They even know when a player says a racial comment at a concert. They did it with the guy in Philadelphia. Right. They know when their players are involved in illegal activities or subjected to illegal activities. Mm-hmm. They know what's going on. You mean to tell me they didn't know nothing about any of these allegations through all these women? Since if you turn your cheek and there's a crime and you know there's a crime going on, you're just as guilty as the person who's committed the crime because you did nothing to stop it. How come the Texans aren't held accountable to anything that Deshaun Watson is doing with all these counts? From your perspective, James Holland?
Man, that's a good point because it's all about, again, for some of these people and some of these teams, just putting the best players out there on the field and winning the game. So they're going to try to keep it under wraps, so to speak. And then once you try to speak up as yourself to get something, for example, he wanted to go ahead and get a trade. You know what? We finna release this stuff we got on you because we're going to keep you where we want to keep you, if you know what I mean. Knowing the background, knowing the things that they're going through, and you kind of building up a tab, so to speak, that I can use later on against you if I need to when you decide to think your own way.
Okay. This is we pivoted and went a whole different direction. This Deshaun Watson thing is not, rightfully so though, it's not going away. Right, because
but like Montel said, why now? Why did it just finally come out now when he's had that? He hasn't changed. He was that way from day one.
Yeah,
but I'm saying the allegations have been there. They've been there. I mean,
Exactly.
one of the people said they wrote. I think one of the ladies tried to extort him, or one of the people, I think the Texans made a comment to the Texans about this situation. His masseuse, his personal masseuse that quit, even knew about his indiscretions with these women. So all these people knew, and you mean to tell me a multi-billion-dollar industry that monitors its employees big time under microscopes don't know? I'm saying if they knew and they did nothing about it, how come they're not held accountable as well? There should be some accountability on their part, in my opinion.
No, agree.
So I'm not sure. It just sounds like everyone's saying Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson did those things, rightfully so, the law should handle it and he should be dealt with in the proper manner. I'm saying not only is Deshaun Watson should be under investigation, why aren't the Texans being under investigation as too, by not doing anything to correct that behavior?
I would anticipate, or I would hope, that there is just some stuff going on behind the scenes that we, as the Monday morning quarterback, or as the fan, outside person looking in, doesn't see. That just someone's paying, someone on the finance side is paying it off to keep it quiet. But I don't have a lot of hope and faith in some things within the system, but I would hope that this is actually is being dealt with as well, some kind of way, and maybe there'll be a story about it. Because one other story, and then we'll wrap it up on this, that Montel, you and I have talked passionately about, is that Seahawks linebacker that beat his girlfriend unconscious, was all caught on camera, all caught on video, and why that situation wasn't fully investigated, fully put through the legal system and things like that. Maybe it has, maybe it wasn't. Maybe his people paid to keep it quiet. Who knows? Maybe he's sitting behind bars right now. We don't know that. But again, that's another thing, right? Again, when you got big financial organizations and you got a lot of money being involved, you can pay to keep stories quiet. You can pay to keep things out of the spotlight. But hopefully something like that, something like this, the whole Deshaun Watson thing and the whole organization thing is being dealt with by somebody. Somebody with the right heart, and someone with the right mentality to make sure that justice is done for all parts, and innocent till proven guilty. All those acronyms or things like that. So I just threw that out there to ramble because again, I've been in front of a camera for about 8 hours today, so who knows what I'm talking about. I apologize.
No, actually, if I go with you on that one a little bit, because think about it, even with Ray Lewis, different things that happened. He still kept playing. He got 2 Super Bowl rings. So when organizations got money to shut people up and been doing it for years, that's kind of what they do. They think money just cure everything, and then you can get away with it. And that's only the people that's at that level, that's like that face of their franchise, or the people that's going to make the money the most for that team. If it starts to deal with my money, then that's when all of a sudden these things come up. All of a sudden, the person's history, or unfortunately, somebody start to really look into it, and then legal actions might happen. But it's so many situations where the money just hushed everything up, and that was part of the NFL. It used to be a show on I want to say HBO. It was a football show where they were depicting. I just forgot the name of it. They were depicting. I'm sorry.
Was it Ballers?
I think it was Ballers, or right before. No, it was before Ballers. It was a different one, but they were depicting exactly how the NFL was.
Okay.
And it got taken off. It was before Ballers.
Okay.
Because it was, to me, depicting too much of what's really was going on. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I remember one episode where it was a running back that he had a problem with drugs, and one of the guys on the team met him off behind their facility. Didn't know that area was actually had a camera, but the guy begged him to get him some drugs because he was just going through a fit. He got it to him. It was filmed. This player was coming up for his contract later, and it came out that he was actually gay.
Okay.
When the team found that out, they told him if he come out and say that, because he was about to say it, they were actually going to put that video out.
Wow.
And it's other situations where they were showing parties where they were had like these married players was out doing their thing with different women, all kind of things here and there in the parties, all the different drugs and things. But that show maybe lasted about 6 months to a year before it got pulled. It really got pulled because of it. To me, it was really depicting things that go on. Man, I I hate to bring this up, but just to show you too what you get from things. Back in the day, like what was after college, maybe about 1 or 2 years after college, I know James Trapp's whole career. He played for Raiders and the Ravens. He was a nickelback. But anyway, I went to a club in Pasadena, California, and the line was huge. It was long. So just to show you what you get, just if you was a player, coming up to, I had maybe about 20 people in line with me. I went up to the front and I was like, man, how are we gonna get away from this line? I want to get in there. So I said, you know what, I'm James Trapp. And the person at the door was like, okay, you still gotta wait. The owner came out and I guess he was a fan of James Trapp. And he said, somebody out there said that they James Trapp. I showed him my ID and had my finger, I never forget this, finger over my last name, and he just saw James. He believed me, it was $30 a head that night.
Yeah.
Everybody got in free. They put us in a little VIP room. As I was leaving, a minor league team that I was playing on, about 30 players in line, I also got them in free just because supposedly I was playing football.
Crazy.
So you've given you put these people on a pedestal and you let them do almost anything they want. That entitlement again, it's and then all of a sudden, if again it affects the money, that's when all of a sudden this history of stuff come out. That
is insane. That's you, first of all, you done snuck in the club. How come I wasn't there with you so I can get in the club with you? But
so on top of that, it's a player's card because the guy asked me, "Did you have your player's card?" I said, "Oh no, I left it at the hotel." This is back in the day, though. I changed.
That was back in your trifling days, right? When you was out there running them streets. Folks, I'm getting some behind the scenes insight. Apparently, your boy Kwame is on YouTube right now, responding to Stephen A. Smith and his statements on ESPN. I'm not going to put that on the screen right now because I'm sure your boy Kwame is dropping some 3-letter words, 4-letter words, and some other things. But we will continue the conversation. Oh boy, no, we not talking about Dominique right now. We actually gonna leave it to where we had it. We appreciate you chiming in and providing your backseat driving. There's just nothing but love for you, brother. So we appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm selfishly I'm falling because again, like I say, I've been on screen for about 6 hours today. So. Montel, I need to teach you how to produce these shows. So when I start drifting like this, I can have you in the driver's seat, dog.
It's all good.
Closing remarks, though, man. I mean, this was it's a great show, right? We had a handful of things that we want to talk about, and Mr. Holland, you came in with a great perspective, and again, gave us some things to think about again from mindset. And from I mean, just how you're dealing with society and things like that. So appreciate you coming on, man. Really,
it's a blessing.
I'm gonna step in. I know Montel has probably told you, but man, look, you got the link now to the studio. Anytime.
Oh yes, sir.
You come through. I'll let you in. Now, some other folks who have the link, I'm not gonna let them. I'm not gonna let them in the front door. But you can definitely come in. You know, okay. See what I mean? Look at that. Understand? You got some sleep, team, no sleep. Yeah, I'm trying to, that dog. I'm trying to. And see, she knows. This my fan. Man, look, I love this woman right here. God, she understands exactly what I'm going through right now. Montel, talk to us, brother. How you living? You think we did okay?
No, everything's good, man. I just thank you, James, man, for coming on the show, man. Blessing us with your perspective on things. I think we want to kind of give our audience a new perspective on things, especially from someone that's in the profession and how people look at things. You touched on entitlement, which was a huge, very huge subject that needs to get across for everyone. And like, man, I just appreciate you, brother. We've been knowing each other for 20 years. Hopefully know you for the next 20. But 20 more.
Yes,
We got
sir.
20 more to go at least.
Yeah.
And then, man, just keep being a blessing to the people you're working with, man. I think the work that you do speaks volumes in not in community and helping people get through their day-to-day struggles in their lives, man. So, thank you, man. I do want to say one thing though. Please, blessings to those people in San Jose, California, the victims in that crime the other day, man. I mean, my heart goes out to them. My prayers go out to their families and friends, man. I hope our society can kind of get over those things, and hope we can start to learn to do things a different way. So,
that's right.
That's where I'm at.
Hey, well, I just want to thank you guys. It's been a blessing. Hey, especially had this opportunity to get out and really talk about it. It's so much like things that we go through that we don't realize how it affects us, and it changes our whole mental mind state. Like when people hear the word psychotherapy, they think, oh, it's psycho because of the movie and things that we've seen. But if you hurt yourself and you need to go to the doctor to rehabilitate an arm or a leg, you get physical therapy. So psychotherapy, you switch it around, it's therapy for the psyche, it's therapy for the mind. You got to keep your mind right every single day. But when we look at different topics and different situations in the news and the media, unfortunately, it messes with our mindset if we don't keep clear to what's really true and not.
I love that, man.
But I just want to say thank you, man.
Definitely, brother. We appreciate you, and I love that closing statement. There's nothing more that I can say besides what you guys have said, except continue to support us. We are building something here, folks. Again, we're trying to change the whole paradigm, right? Like I always say, we're not talking about scores and sneaker deals and shoe deals all the time. We're really trying to have that awkward conversation. We're bringing up stuff that is not comfortable a lot of times, but man, these are the conversations that need to happen. So if you could share our stories with your sphere of influence, with your circle of friends, help us get better and give us topics of discussion as well. We will continue to do that. That being said, Team No Sleep, your boy here, I'm about to go to sleep.